Hey, fifth grade and fourth grade. It is Tuesday, day 2 of math. And we are going to look at multiplying by tens, hundreds, or thousands. Okay, so let's go ahead and warm up with a problem that we've seen before. Let's do 53 times 10. Well, some of you could write it out like this and solve it like you know, but remember our trick when we have a 0 here. All we really need to do is take our 53 and our 1 and multiply those together first. So 53 times 1 is 53. And then what's the only piece of this we haven't taken care of yet? It's this 0, right? So we're going to go ahead and take this 0 and we're going to put him here at the end. Okay, so this then became a 5 in the hundredths place instead of in a hundreds place instead of the tens. And then this 3 is now in the tens instead of the ones. And then you have 0 here in the ones. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at another example like this, except let's look at division. You're not going to be doing division today, but I think it's important that you see this. So if I have 120 divided by 10, remember our trick with this. How many zeros do I have in the number 10? I just have this one, right? So I am going to take this 0, and over here, this 0 is almost going to cancel itself out. So now by doing that, all I really need to do is then multiply your 12 times your 1, which is 12, or 12 divided by 1, which is 12, okay? So you just end up with your 12 because your 0 is taken off, your 1, 0, because you had the 0 here. We learned this a little bit earlier this year. All right, so let's go ahead and try something. Let's just warm up, give it a try, and then we're going to talk through it at the end, okay? So we have 2.05 times 10. So 2 and 5 hundredths times 10. Pause the video and try it out. Okay, does everybody see this multiplication problem? All right, that's going to be a huge clue for you, okay? What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at our 10. How many zeros do I have in my 10? This is the same thing we did with whole numbers just a second ago. We have 1, okay? Now that 1 0 is this little secret keeper almost, okay? Since you have 1 0 in your 10, you are going to take your decimal, 2.05, and you are going to move it to the right once because you have 1 0. So your new fraction would become 20.5. All right, because this decimal moved. It shifted right 1 place. Okay? All right, let's try another one. It's going to be the same thing, except we're going to divide. I just want you to see this. Stick with me. So we have 2.05 divided by 10. Now, that's not multiplication anymore. That's division. When I multiply, I go to the right, just like we just did. When I divide, I'm going to move my decimal to the left. Now, this is a trick if you have 10, if you have 100, or if you have 1,000 as your wholes, okay? So make sure to remember that. This is only a trick if you have the zeros there in your whole numbers. All right, pause this video and give this one a try. If you know that division moves left, pause. Okay, now all we have to do is take a look at my 10. How many zeros are there, guys? Just one, right? So I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to put my marker on my decimal point and I'm going to move him left. One space because I have 1 0. Okay, so I have to shift it. So we're going to go this way, boop, boop, and I'm going to put my decimal right there. So if I come down here and I give you my answer, it would be 0.205 or 205 thousandths, okay? If you want to, you can put a 0 in your ones place. You don't have to, okay, but you can use it as a placeholder. So this is the biggest trick that I need you guys to take away today. If you are multiplying, you're going to move your decimal to the right. If you are dividing, you're going to move your decimal to the left, okay? For example, if I have, I'm going to keep that little cheat sheet up there for you. If I have a friend that comes up to me on the road and they say, okay, well, I have 1 32 thousandths of something. Okay. And I multiplied it by a number. We don't know what it is. And I got 103.2 or 103 2/10. Let me move it this way. I want you guys to try to figure out what this number would be. What did we multiply it by? We're multiplying, so we had to have shifted our decimal to the right. Think about how many zeros would need to be in this number to get from here to here. Pause the video. Okay, if I have 1.032 and I'm trying to make it become this, I'm going to go ahead and get a marker where I can see my decimal very clearly. This is where it is, right guys? From right here. Now I need to make it look like this, and I know that I'm moving right because I'm multiplying. I moved to get from here to here 2 spaces. 1. Is that what we're looking for? No. I need to move it again. Go to the right. 2. All right, let's rewrite that and see what it looks like now. Ah, is that what I needed? Yeah, they matched, and I moved it 2 times, which shows me that I need to have a number right here. It's either a 10, 100, or 1,000 that lets me move it 2 times. So I need to have a number that has 2 zeros in it. Remember, those zeros are my little secret keepers. They're my tricksters. They help us out. Good. 100 is the number that would go right here. Because you have 2 zeros in this number 100, and you moved your decimal place 1 time, 2 times. Okay, so that's why you have your 2 zeros right there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at one more. I say one more, I've got a couple more after this. Okay, so we have 0.015 times 100. Okay, I want you guys to pause the video and try this out. Good job. All right, so take a look at my little cheat sheet. I've got a multiplication problem. I come up here and look at my cheat sheet. Okay, if it's multiplying, I've got to move my decimal to the right. Okay, so I then take a look at this number. How many zeros do I have in this number? I have 2 zeros. So that shows me that I am going to need to move this decimal 2 places because of my 2 zeros to the right. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and do that with a different color so you can see. 1, 2. All right? So that would give me 0.5 or 1 5/10. I can keep my zeros there if it's helpful, guys. But when I have zeros in my tens and my hundreds and my thousands, they're not really doing me any good. They're just placeholders. They're just showing you that this is your tens, this is your hundreds. You don't actually really need them, okay? So I can go ahead and I can just erase those, all right? Just like if you had 1.50. 1.5 is really the same thing as 1.50. You just have 0 in your hundredths, and it's just holding a place, so you don't really need it, okay? So your answer there would be 1.5 in order to make it look a little bit cleaner and nicer. Now, guys, when you have zeros maybe between your wholes and between your decimal places, your tenths, your hundredths, if you've got zeros here, you wouldn't want to erase those. You're just going to erase zeros if they're out to the sides. They don't really have a job. They're just holding places. All right, so keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and try a couple. Let's open up our textbook to page 44. And I want you guys to try numbers 1 through 6 on your own. Now, I think we did some of these in class together, but like I said, that's okay. We're backtracking here, all right? Go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so for number 1, we should have gotten 45 because we moved our decimal place. Multiplication means to the right, okay? We moved our decimal to the right 1 time. Zoop, zoop. So he just became 45.0, which is the same thing as 45. Then for number 2, we had 0.56 times 10. I'm multiplying, so I shift it 1 to the right because I have 1 0. Okay, 1 time. So that would become 0.5.6, or like I said before we did our practice, this isn't really doing anything, so I can just erase him, and I have 5.6. For number 3, 12.6 times 10, 1 0, move it to the right 1 time. So I end up with 126.0, or you could just say 126, okay? Because you had nothing in your decimal places, or less than wholes. Okay, number 4, 0.027 times 10. I'm going to move it 1 time. 1 time, okay? So I have 0.27. These guys, you know, this one is really not doing anything. I could even erase both of them, but I think I'm going to leave my ones. I'm going to leave my 1 0 there just as a good placeholder to make it look a little bit neater, okay? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at number 5. I have 3.082 times 10. Again, 1 0, move it 1 time. So I'm going to end up with 30.82 or 30 and 82 hundredths. And then our last problem is 25.078 times 10. Again, I have 1 0 in my 10, so I'm going to move it one time, and you should have ended up with 250.78. Okay? All right, guys. What I'd like for you to do is I would like for you to flip your notebook, your textbook, and open up to page 48. And I would like for you to try 48 on your own, so numbers 13 through 22. Give it a try. Go ahead and pause the video. All right, now moms and dads can help you, or grandparents can help you check your answers. So this is what we should have gotten on our piece of paper or on our whiteboard. So double check that you have those answers right. And remember, on Friday, I have office hours, and I also touch base with you guys pretty much every day. So if you're confused, if you need help, have mom or dad or grandparents reach out and I can help you, okay? Awesome job today. See you tomorrow.